Oh, yo, what's going on, guys? Joey Sherkamach is back here with another video for you guys. And guys, the 2021 NFL Draft has officially come to an end, and we are here to talk about the Ravens draft, how I'm feeling about it, what I think we should do next, plus next as in what we should do in free agency next, who we should sign, stuff like that. So, let's start with the draft. First of all, I'm really happy with this draft. A lot of thumbs up. There were no picks that really bothered me, and some of them really got me excited. I was really happy with the way we drafted this year. We were patient. We didn't trade back, which I was really happy about. I wanted us to use our two first-round picks. We did, which I'm really happy about, so shout out to EDC. And we'll go through players in order here, from first to last. So, first guy. Wide receiver, taking at 27, Rashad Bateman. This one had me the most excited for sure. And I try to contain it because I know just because we draft someone who's supposedly really good does not mean that they're going to carry it onto the field necessarily. And we've also had that, especially with us, where we draft these really high-quality receivers and we just cannot develop them. But nonetheless, I was still excited, really excited, because he's what we need. I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's physical. He can go up for 50-50 balls. He's got solid hands. I really think that he can become a star in this league. And I'm much more confident that we can develop him because we finally got rid of David Culley, the moronic passing game coordinator. We have now Keith Williams and another guy. I forget his name. But, and again, I don't know if they're any good, but pretty much anyone is an upgrade over Culley, so I'm not going to complain. I'm really happy about that. We're finally starting to understand that Jackson needs weapons. As good as he is, he can't do it all himself. He needs some help, just like any quarterback. So, really happy to see this, guys. And totally thumbs up. It was the right move and the perfect moment. There's no way we could have let Bateman fall. I was pretty surprised he was still available. There's no way we could have let him slide there. And yes, we did pick again at 31, but the Saints probably would have taken him, who came right after us. They probably would have taken him if we did not. So definitely the right choice here. Really happy we took him. Welcome to Baltimore, baby, and I cannot wait to have him in a purple jersey. So, next guy. And again, we used our 2 first-round picks. So this guy came right after, pick 31. So originally he was called Jason Owe, but he wants to be called by his maiden first name now. So I think it's Odafe Owe. He is an edge rusher from Penn State. So, wild card for this guy. So I am personally happy about this. First of all, we drafted an edge rusher. We needed to do that, obviously. We have no edge rushers right now. Pernell McPhee is mainly a run defender. We have absolutely no pass rush. We finally started to make a dent in that. Drafting Owe. Now, I know he did not have a single sack last year. I saw a headline and some film, not a single sack. Yeah, that's concerning. However, okay, that's why you cannot just look at the stats. You got to look at the film and the way he's used. So, I'm not saying he's the greatest pass rusher in the world, no doubt about that. But I have a lot of high hopes for this guy. First of all, he's big, he's physical, he's great against the run. So that edge run defending duo, McPhee and Owe, that could be really nice. And it's kind of like Yannick Ngakoue, but a bit different. He got a lot of pressures last year. His pressure rate was pretty high. He just had a hard time finishing. Now, in a sense, I'm not happy about that because I feel like that's been a trend for a lot of the Ravens' edge rush and just pass rush in general. A pass rush is bad, but what happens a lot when we get pressure, we can't finish, especially for the edge guys. Yannick Ngakoue, it did not happen to anyone more than him. So many times where Ngakoue got pressure but could not finish. Judon as well, great job getting pressure, but he cannot finish the sack. So obviously that's not great because we're trying to buck that trend, and this guy falls right in that category. However, I would say we probably develop edge guys the best, I'd be willing to argue. I mean, Judon was like a late 5th-round pick, I think, and we turned him into a solid above-average player. He's not the greatest player in the world, but he is solid and above average, and most certainly better than a 5th-round pick. I'd say he's probably a 2nd-rounder, but definitely, we can develop edge rushers. We didn't lose any defensive coaches, I don't think. Only big coach loss we had, I think, was the running backs coach. And, I mean, I guess now that we're on the topic, I'm not going to worry about that too much because we have a lot of talent at the running back position. I mean, losing a genius coach, apparently, is not good, obviously, but I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. So, anyways, really happy about this pick. I mean, Probably not the best edge rusher in the class, but we can develop him and he can become really, really good. And we need the depth. And I love how he's physical and can defend the run, and he's tough. He's not like a baby. And he's got the strength. So really, really happy about that. So first 2 picks, man, I am really liking this, and that continues. 3rd round pick, I think this was, or we traded back. Ben Cleveland. He is a guard from Georgia. Kind of ironic. Ben Cleveland. Yeah, he's going to be playing Cleveland twice this year. So anyways, again, I like this move as well. Yes, we signed Kevin Zeitler in the offseason, but we still needed more interior help. So after the draft, I think the way the offensive line is going to look, it's starting to come more into focus, but it's not locked in yet because we still have not signed an right tackle or just offensive tackle in general. We didn't draft one either, which means we're essentially guaranteed to sign one. And again, I'll talk more about that after I go through all these draft players. But I am glad we got Ben Cleveland. I don't think he's going to be a starter because we signed Zeitler, who's pretty much guaranteed to be a starter unless he gets hurt or unless he just has a terrible training camp, which is unlikely. He's one of the better guards in this league. So he'll start. And then other guards, we're going to move Bozeman to center. That's looking more and more likely. Again, he was a center in college, so I'm totally okay with that. And then the left guard position is really what the toss-up is, I think. Because we could put Phillips at guard, or we could put him at tackle, but we're probably going to sign a tackle, so does Phillips move into guard? Or, which is always possible, does this guy, Ben Cleveland, fight and win the starting job? The only locked-in position, I think you could say, is Ronnie Stanley. He's going to play left tackle. There's no way that'll change me. Unless, like, our whole offensive line gets hurt, I would find it shocking if Stanley does not play left tackle. So, he'll stay there. But then I think the rest of the line is tossed up. It's starting to come more into focus, and I think there's a very good chance that Bozeman plays center, but it's not locked in yet by rule. So we'll see what happens. I think in the next couple of weeks we'll have an answer because I think we're going to sign an offensive lineman and a pass rusher very soon. Now that it doesn't count against compensatory picks for the draft, I think we could do it really any day now. So, I like this move. And remember, we drafted Tyree Phillips last year, and he was not great, okay? Some high highs and some low lows, but we can develop him and he could be solid. But regardless, we drafted him last year and it was not looking like he'd be the starter, but he actually won the battle against, I think it was DJ Fluker in training camp and got the starting job. So I'm not going to rule out Ben Cleveland being a starter. I don't expect it, but you never know. But again, guys, I'm happy about this pick. We need offensive line, especially interior line, so I'm not going to complain about this move at all. Apparently, he's really big. He's a giant guy, and we could really use that. We need the physicality, so I'm totally happy with this pick. Glad we were able to get him. 4th guy, Brandon Stevens, cornerback, SMU. So I did not get to watch. I was able to watch the first couple rounds. I did not get to watch the 4 through 7 or even 3 through 7. Or excuse me, 4 through 7. 4 through 7. Sorry. I was out of town the last day or so. So I don't really know too much about any of these guys except the high quality guys like Bateman. But from what I've heard, some Ravens fans are complaining that we could have taken someone better this early. Apparently, he's not that good, and we kind of reached for him. I don't really know, because again, I don't know much about this guy. I don't follow college football. But I'm not going to complain about getting a cornerback in general, because we need it. And I think this is indicating, because our secondary, it's going to be the same this year, just about, not counting the draft additions. But next year, I think it could look a lot different. Humphrey will stay. He's locked into a contract. He's staying. But Peters might be gone, Smith might be gone, and Young might be gone. All 3 of them probably won't leave, but I think at least 2 of them could. So our secondary is going to look a bit different next year. And I don't expect Brandon Stevens. Now, again, part of the reason why we got him, I think, is because our secondary cannot stay healthy. The only cornerback who has been safe from injuries is Marlon Humphrey. Jimmy Smith has serious injury issues. No one has more injury issues than Tavon Young. And Peters had some injury issues last year as well. So I think part of this was, okay, you may start in 2022 when we let go of some of our secondary guys, and you're going to be a backup this year in case some of our secondary guys get hurt. So again, thumbs up there. Maybe we could have taken someone better according to my reliable fans, but you never know. So I'm not going to complain about this. We needed a corner. I'm glad we got him. We need the depth. So next, another wide receiver, Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. So from what I've heard, this is kind of the opposite. The last one was kind of a reach. I've heard this one was a steal. So Oklahoma State, again, I know nothing about this guy, and I know stats are overrated, but looking at his stats, he actually looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know, I'm sure he has some weaknesses, but a bit surprised that he fell that far. I mean, his stats are even better than Bateman's, and again, stats don't say everything, I understand that, but he looks like a really solid player, so I'm glad we got him. We need the wide receiver depth, and this is really going to give our new passing game coordinators a chance to develop these guys and improve, perhaps, our current wide receivers, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm, again, happy about this pick. Maybe I would have chosen to take a tackle over another receiver because we had already gotten Bateman, but maybe Bateman isn't that good after all, and Wallace is the one that steps in, or vice versa. So I'm not going to complain. I think that, and especially if this guy's a steal, I'm certainly not going to complain about that. We take him, we can develop him. I'm happy about that. Again, I can't guarantee that we'll develop him because our luck at developing receivers is not very good, but it is always possible, and I do think that this year it could change because we have new coordinators, as mentioned. So, again, thumbs up there. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm really happy with this draft. No picks really bothered me. A lot of them made a lot of sense. A couple of them were a bit interesting, like the Brandon Stevens one. But again, I'm not going to complain, and I think that we're really set to have a great season again. So, next cornerback. Actually, I just gave it away. Next pick, Shaun Wade, a cornerback from Ohio State. So, another one, I heard that he was a steal as well. Apparently, this guy is a really good slot corner. And I really like that we took a primarily slot guy. Because again, and I'm not trying to wish injuries, predict them by any means, Tavon Young has been in the NFL for 4 years. He was a rookie in 2016, I'm pretty sure. He has had one, and I mean one, fully healthy season. That was 2018. I don't even know if he played all 16 games, but he was mainly healthy. The rest of those 3 years, okay, actually, hold on. If he had, okay, I take that back. 2016, he had, I think, like a half year. Then 2017, out for the year. 2018 was the 1 year that he was fully healthy, I think. 2019, hurt. Last year, he had 1 game and then got hurt in the second. And all of those injuries were season-ending injuries. Neck was 1, ACL was 1. It's just awful. The poor guy. So, because he has only had maybe 1.5 healthy years, I can't exactly be that confident that he's going to be healthy again this year. So I guess he's been in the NFL for 5 years, and he's probably played in maybe 1.5 of those. It's crazy. But anyways, and I'm not saying I predict him to get hurt, but the guy cannot stay healthy. It's pretty much despicable at this point. He has had 3 season-ending injuries. He has only had 1 full season, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's simply not going to work. Now, to be fair, when healthy, he's very, very good. Great in coverage. Definitely needs work at winning 50-50 balls, but a lot of times it's not a problem because when a cornerback is locking down the receiver, quarterbacks don't want to, a cornerback is locking down a receiver, quarterbacks don't want to test him, so they don't throw it at him. But when it comes to 50-50 balls, yeah, that's where we might run into some problems, but overall, I like Tavon Young a lot. I think he's really good. So, I'm glad that we got Shaun Wade because in case Young gets hurt, he can step in and it can be a nice compliment alongside Young because as I mentioned earlier in the video, Young is likely going to be gone after this year. The guy can't stay healthy, and while he could be really good, I think we have a lot of secondary depth already, and maybe it'll change. But I do think Young is probably gone after this year, so I'm really glad that we took Shaun Wade. And again, if he's great, that's awesome. And he can kind of step into that role, maybe get some training this year, and step in, as I mentioned, next in 2022 when and if Young falls or walks, whatever you want to call it. So, cool with that. The next 2 picks, these are kind of more just for depth and not really worth talking about too much. Defensive end Dalen Hayes from Notre Dame. Again, I know nothing about this guy, and I really don't need to talk about them much. Maybe we can develop him, and again, edge rushers, defensive ends, whatever you want to call it, we have been known to be able to develop them, so I am happy about that. So maybe we can turn this guy into a starter. You never know. And then the other guy, Ben Mason. So, fullback from Michigan. So it says that he's a fullback, but for some reason, the Ravens are going to mark him as a tight end. I guess because he's known to be a big blocker, which we could use. I think the 3 tight ends we need to bring back because it was so deadly in 2019. And last year, it was good, but it wasn't as good. We lost Hayden Hurst, and then Nick Boyle destroyed his knee against New England. He was out for the rest of the year. So we were down to just Mark Andrews, and it simply was not getting the job done. Yes, Andrews is good, but he has injury issues himself, and he can block, but that's not what he's known for. He's known to be a receiving tight end. So definitely glad we took someone who maybe isn't a tight end all the time, but he can block, he can step in, especially on our option plays. So I'll definitely take this pick. So guys, again, overall, I'd give this draft a solid A-. Really happy with the picks we made. Again, some might disappoint, some might shine, overperform, I guess I should say. But, you know, that's just the way football works. It's the way all sports work. Some, their bark is bigger than their bite. Some, their bite is bigger than their bark, whatever you want to say it. So, we will see what happens, and I really look forward to seeing these rookies go, and we'll see if they land a starting job to start the season. So, guys, that's just about the end of this video. Before I end it, it's pretty much all falling into focus now. We drafted one edge rusher, Odafe Owe, I think it's how you say it. But we're not done. I think we're almost certainly going to sign Justin Houston for a couple reasons. Number one, we've been interested in him for a while. Number two, we visited with him already, and I saw this explicitly from a reliable source. After he visited the Ravens, he was supposed to visit the Texans. Now, again, to be fair, it's the Texans. Literally no one wants to play for the Texans right now. They're a total train wreck. But he was supposed to visit with the Texans. He turned them down. He just did not go. He canceled, which very likely means the meeting went really well, and he's choosing either to re-sign with the Colts or sign with the Ravens. However, to increase the chances of him signing, the Colts drafted at least 2 edge rushers in the draft. They really went heavy on pass rush. So I feel like that really lines up for Houston to be gone. They're like, you know, sorry, Houston, but you're aging a bit. We were drafting these guys, so you're going to walk. Then again, maybe you could say they're going to keep Houston to help him develop the edge rushers. That's possible. But I think the Colts drafting these at least 2, maybe it was even 3 edge rushers, indicates that Houston is on the way out. So, and if Houston is on the way out, I absolutely think we're going to be the ones that get him. I'm pretty sure he fits in our system, 3-4, 4-3, whatever it is. We're a very balanced and dynamic defense. We throw a lot of different looks, so I don't think it's really an issue. So I absolutely want Houston. He's a veteran presence. He's an upgrade over what we have now. He can help develop Odafe Owe, perhaps, along with the coaching. And he's still good. Don't get me wrong. He had 8.5 sacks last year. I don't know how many of those came on blitzes or how many were real sacks, I should say. But you never know. And, yes, he's definitely past his prime, but he's still good. He can still get to the quarterback 5 to 7 or maybe even more times a year. So I definitely think we should sign Houston, and I do think it's pretty likely that we will. It doesn't make sense for us to not, and we need veteran presence. So I am expecting Houston to come here. It's not official, and I'm not going to hold my breath, but I do think it's likely. And then the more complicated option or subject is offensive tackle. So there are 2 offensive tackles right now who we're interested in. Alejandra Nueva and Dennis Kelly. And I'm seeing a lot, again, on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of mixed debates on who is better. And I participated in some of those as well. So if you've been following me on Twitter, you know what my answer is going to be, but I'll reiterate it here. I'm all for Dennis Kelly because he, first of all, is a great run blocker. He's a big guy. We need that. He can perhaps run over and dominate defensive ends or tackles, depending on the formation. But anyway, he's a big guy. He's in his prime. That's what I really like. Alejandra Nueva has kind of gotten worse. He had a really rough year last year. He's aging, and he struggles in the run blocking game. He's great as a pass blocker. Now, to his credit, I won't totally complain about that because pretty much our whole offensive line except Stanley is just run blocking and they can't pass block. Stanley's the only guy who can really do both. So maybe it kind of balances out for us to have someone who can pass block but can't really run block. But at the same time, we are a run-first team, so having a lineman who can't really run block is certainly a problem. And Dennis Kelly, I saw a ranking, and this is not stats, these are just factual rankings. He did not give up a single sack last year. I really, really like to see that because our pass blocking was by far one of the big weaknesses of our team last year, and it needs to be improved. So I absolutely like that. I think Kelly could be really, really good at that. And again, he's a solid run blocker. I always thought he was good on Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee made the right decision to cut him. So I am more for Dennis Kelly. And another reason, I don't think this will be too big of an issue, but Villanueva is a left tackle. I don't want to have the same issue we have with Brown. He's a left tackle already. Meanwhile, Dennis Kelly is a right tackle. So if we sign Villanueva, maybe it might be a bit more work to switch him over to right tackle. Meanwhile, if we sign Kelly, we can put him right in that spot at right tackle because Stanley's already a left tackle and problem solved. And I know there's more into account. I've heard that there's some issues with Dennis Kelly's health, but I don't think it's too big of an issue. He had a full season last year. But then again, the Ravens, they know more about injuries than I do, obviously. But I would like Dennis Kelly. I'm not going to complain if we get Villanueva, but I will be a bit disappointed. I think Kelly's the better option. He's younger, and he's simply the better player overall, I think. And Villanueva is most certainly not as good as he used to be. So I'm going to hope for Dennis Kelly, and I think he's the better option for us. And Justin Houston, likely to come to us. If he doesn't, maybe Melvin Ingram. But I do expect us to sign at least one more free agent before the start of training camps, OTAs, whatever you want to call it. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I am out. Peace out. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens, man. Love this draft, and I will be back when the Ravens make their next move, and it could be any day. We will see what happens. Have a great week.